Hello, my name is Maree, and I am the founder of the Wisdom of Love Academy. What is trauma? Most people think trauma is something tragic and that we need to see a mental health practitioner because we are broken. But in reality, everyone has trauma of some kind. We know this because of our triggers, overreactions, and irrational behaviour at times. Simple things like jealousy, avoidance, over or under-eating can be the response to underlying trauma. Trauma usually begins in childhood, but it may go back to the baby in the womb or even past lives. Phobias are usually from past lives and the way we died in that life, but they may also be related to childhood traumas. Perhaps a child was locked in a cupboard during a game and they now fear enclosed spaces. Trauma relates to fear. A child has limited understanding of situations, and so they create explanations that may not be real. For example, parents fighting may leave the child feeling unloved or the cause of the fight. The fight may have been about financial difficulties. The topic was something needed to be bought for the child. The parents differed on their view, but the child sees them fighting and the cause is the child. At that point, they feel undeserving of love or attention, because they are the cause of their parents' fight. Perhaps they feel unlovable because one parent did not want to spend money on them. There are many perspectives the child can take from this situation. The child may feel rejected, neglected, or abandoned by their parent. As a therapist, when I regress a person, I am often surprised by their traumas. A 5-year-old stands in the playground of their new school. They know no one, and their parent has dropped them off on the first day of school. That child feels abandoned, and this has created fear of abandonment for the rest of their lives. A 6-month-old girl sits on the floor whilst the mother and a visitor chat. The visitor says, "She's going to be a little fatty." The child feels fat all her life, even though photos show that she was not fat. A boy is in the room with his older female cousin. She starts experimenting sexually with him. He is confused and tells his family. They laugh at him. His grandmother tells him not to lie. This memory never fades and lives in his mind as shame. For children, trauma is an experience that created a negative feeling about themselves. It is shame, guilt, fear, limiting beliefs, feeling unlovable or not deserving of love. The child does not blame the other person. They see everything from the perspective that they are at fault. This carries into adulthood, relationships, and self-esteem. Something triggers the adult, and they go straight back to being the child with those painful feelings and beliefs. This is where addictions kick in. They are protector parts that want to relieve the anxiety, pain, and suffering of the inner child. They distract with food, gambling, shopping, or other unwanted behaviours. They may numb with alcohol or drugs. They are an escape, running away from the pain. But all relief is temporary, and triggers will happen again until the trauma memory is healed. The child was powerless and judged themselves at fault. The healing is giving the child back their power and understanding the fault lies with the adult. The child can then forgive or discard the adult from their memory. But a child should never be left alone unsupported, and so every traumatic memory is healed by attaching the right nurturer and protector emotions to support the child. To a child, adults are right and the child wrong. This is a consequence of a punishment-reward system of parenting. Even when the parent was so stressed they are incapable of showing love, perhaps angry or violent, maybe even drowning their own pain in alcohol, the child will take the blame. If I was not born, they would be happy. Love is the healing energy, but sadly, sometimes you will find inability to love as a generational trauma. The child never felt loved, the parent was incapable of love as their own childhood lacked love, and so on back through generations to the original trauma. How can a person love another if they have never learned how to love? How can a person give love if they are craving love themselves and always in a state of lack? Trauma is lack of love. There are many things that take us away from love and interfere. This is where we harm each other. When we live in a state of lack, we blame others. The adult blames their parent for lack of love, money, opportunities. The parent blames their child for lack of achievement, good behaviour, not being perfect. Trauma takes us into the blame game. A person feels inadequate, imperfect because of their trauma. They compensate by blaming everyone and everything else. If it is their fault, that would mean they are unlovable. The child is confused, and this carries through to the adult. They have carried all these feelings and they do not know why. They feel not good enough, not lovable, not deserving, and they do not know why. It is a sum of their negative experiences that they never understood. We project our pain and suffering onto others. We blame, shame, and harm others because we feel insecure. Then we feel guilty and blame, shame, and harm ourselves. This is the cycle of trauma. The only relief is addictions or healing. It is time to understand trauma, that everyone has it, and we all need to collectively heal. Trauma is not only in the child, it is in our ancestors who went through terrible events and never healed. It is in our society that blames each other and lives on distractions. It is in our genes, our ego, as part of the fight for survival in a dangerous world. Trauma shapes our beliefs, behaviours, our mindset. We are taught not to kill, and yet we condone mass killings in war that has no purpose. How as a species do we accept the lies and contradictions of our leaders without standing up in outrage? It is our trauma that makes us prisoners of our fears. To become free, we need to heal our trauma. To take back our power, we need to feel strong, confident, and brave. Trauma creates our weakness that makes us vulnerable. But our vulnerability is our common cause. We all have trauma. We are all vulnerable. If we stand strong, support and love each other, then we can be open enough to heal. There are no heroes or villains. There are two perspectives that disagreed. The terrorist is another person's hero. The soldier kills, but when the battlefield is a ghetto, he is a criminal. What brought them to that point where they had to harm others? What pain and suffering are they feeling that takes them to that place of hate against humanity? The child was born into their circumstances and had no power to change it. They formed their beliefs in that environment and became the adult. But we, as a society, are responsible for abandoning the parents, the child, the community that lives in such pain and suffering. Domestic violence, crime, war, financial stress are failures of us as a society. It is not the fault of the person suffering. It is the lack of love and support that we needed to thrive. As a collective, we allowed the trauma to grow until every person is suffering enough to harm each other on a daily basis. It may be an unkind word, an abusive rant, or discrimination. It may be persecution, injustice, or lack of opportunity. As a species, we thrive or fail. To date, we have failed and taken ourselves to the edge of self-destruction. It is now time to heal, and we do this through love, nurturing, and protecting each other. Begin with your own healing so that you no longer project your pain into the world. Then support others as they go through their healing. Some will resist because they are not ready. Be patient. When you see someone misusing their power, it is their fear and trauma that makes them so cruel. Do not react or judge, but mentor and guide them towards healing with love. We are going through a mindset change, and it takes patience to break habits and create new ones. Be kind and loving to yourself. No matter how much you want to change, at times you will react and fall back into old patterns. Is it trauma that still needs healing, or a habit that is still to be changed? The more you practice, the easier it becomes. If you would like to learn more about the new mindset, go to my Wisdom of Love Academy, where I have courses to help you make the transition. The portal to the new world is open, and these courses will help you prepare to move through this portal into the new world. Details are in the description below. Feel free to leave your comments and ask questions that I can answer in future episodes. If you like this content, share it with others, like and subscribe, so that more people can join us in the new world.